Every year in the NBA, there are surprises across the league, and the Orlando Magic have been the surprise team of the 2023 season so far. This was the same exact Orlando Magic team that had the #1 overall pick in the 2022 draft, the same team that went 5-20 to begin the year before turning their season around, and this is the same team that had 2 lottery picks in this year's draft, and they have now found themselves atop of the Eastern Conference. They are one of the best defensive teams in all of basketball, and Coach Mosley is one of the front runners for the Coach of the Year award. And this Orlando Magic team is not only just a great regular season team, they are a legitimate playoff threat. Now, NBA fans and Magic fans, before we actually go ahead and get into today's video, if you guys please could, go ahead and drop me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe bell to stay tuned for more Orlando Magic content that we do here on the HQ. And make sure you guys also go ahead and follow me, Brett James, and Orlando Magic HQ on all of our socials. We're both very active and we're on there every single day, especially Twitter. So make sure you guys go ahead and do that. But Magic fans, NBA fans, let's actually go ahead and talk about the Orlando Magic in today's video. Now, the first reason this Orlando Magic team is a playoff threat is because they are beating some of the best teams in the association. They are not just beating up on teams below 500. The Orlando Magic currently have a record of 16-7. They are 3rd in the East and just a game and a half back of the Boston Celtics for the #1 seed. They will be playing the Boston Celtics this Friday and this Sunday afternoon at the Garden, and they can find themselves atop of the Eastern Conference at the end of this weekend if they take care of business. The Magic have also beaten some of the best teams in the association with teams like the Los Angeles Lakers, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Denver Nuggets, the Boston Celtics, and most recently, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, if you go back to November 11th when the Magic really began to turn their season around with a big win over the Milwaukee Bucks at the Amway Center, since that moment forward, they have won 12 out of their last 15 games, and during that stretch, they had 9 consecutive wins in a row, which tied their single-season franchise record. And we talk about the Orlando Magic being able to compete on a night-in and night-out basis with some of the best teams in the association. Their identity is on the defensive side of the ball, where they have been a defensive juggernaut this season. The Orlando Magic are currently tied for #3 in the NBA in steals per game. They are #3 in the association in defensive rating, and they are #3 in opponent points per game. In the starting unit for the Orlando Magic, both Jalen Suggs and Goga Bitadze, who got thrusted into the starting lineup due to the injury of Wendell Carter Jr., they have been anchoring a top 3 defensive unit in all of basketball. Jalen Suggs has a defensive rating of 106.1. That would rank as the 7th best individual defensive rating in the entire association. And you take a look at Goga Bitadze, he has a 104.6 defensive rating. That would put him at #2 in the association, only behind Rudy Gobert, who currently leads the league. And another player who's been a defensive monster for the Magic has been with Jonathan Isaac coming off the bench. We know since coming into the association back in 2017, he has dealt with injuries, but when he is on the court, his presence is felt. J.I. has a 98.6 defensive rating, which would be #1 in the NBA, but due to him only playing in 16 games and just over 13 minutes a game, he would not qualify. But for all players in the association that play at least 13 minutes a game, J.I. has the best defensive rating in all of basketball. Put that into perspective. And while Jalen Suggs, Goga Bitadze, and Jonathan Isaac are the 3 main pieces on the defensive side of the ball for this Orlando Magic team, Jalen Suggs brings that energy. Goga Bitadze does a phenomenal job of really manning down in the paint, and Jonathan Isaac has that presence and the versatility to switch 1 through 5. It is a team and it's a collective effort. Jamal Mosley, the head coach of the Orlando Magic, preaches defense. The coaching staff does a great job of getting these guys prepared on a night in and night out basis, and you see the capabilities and how much these guys go out there and they are willing to put that effort out on the defensive side of the ball. It is more than just those 3 guys, but those 3 guys do a phenomenal job of anchoring that defense. Now, getting into another reason as to why this Orlando Magic team is going to be a playoff threat, it has to do with their 2 budding stars in both Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner, who are absolutely going to be in the running to at least make an all-star selection this upcoming season. Banchero in his second year is averaging currently 27-4 on 49, 39, 68 splits, Although you'd like to see his free throw percentage go up a little bit, he has done a much better job with his shot selection and his shot quality this season compared to his rookie year. Banchero last week just had a career-high performance versus the Cleveland Cavaliers where he dropped a career-high 42 points, and like I've said, he's doing a much better job this season of getting to his spots in the mid-range, taking better quality shots, being able to get downhill, and really just getting to the free throw line. And speaking of that, Orlando is actually number 2 in the association with the most free throw attempts per game, behind only the Philadelphia 76ers. Orlando does a great job of taking what they can get, going downhill and being aggressive. And take a look at Franz Wagner, their other budding superstar who's having an incredible third season out of Michigan. Franz Wagner this season is averaging 26-4 on 46, 30, 83 splits. And although you'd like to see that three-point percentage go up, I do not believe by the end of the season he'll be shooting 30% from behind the arc. I expect that number to continuously go up. And when you've taken a look at what Franz Wagner has done this season, it feels like he has taken that next step, running and being in command of this offense. It feels like it starts and it ends with him in the half court, pushing the pace, dishing out to shooters, cutters, and getting his teammates set up. When you really take a look at Franz and what he does, he has an incredible feel for the game, especially in the pick and roll. He does a great job of getting downhill. He's got his patented step back three-point jumper, and of course, he is one of the best Euro steps in the game of basketball. And it's not just the two budding superstars in both Banchero and Wagner for the Orlando Magic. This is a team and a collective effort. Take a look at Goga Bitadze, who's been incredible filling in for Wendell Carter Jr. I think he's done a great job, not just on the defensive side of the ball, which we've talked about. He does a great job as a roll man, making his presence felt inside, and really at the top of the key when he has the ball, he's done a great job of dishing out to open cutters and getting guys set up. I think he's been an underrated passer so far. And you take a look at Anthony Black, rookie from Arkansas, who's got thrusted into the starting role as the point guard of this team, and that has been a blessing in disguise with Markelle Fultz's injury, not because you ever wish that, but because you get Anthony Black to have an opportunity at 19 years of age to go out there and make an impact and to see what he can do. And we know the kind of length and versatility he has at 6'7", what he can do on the defensive side of the ball. His offense is still coming along, but he makes his presence felt, especially on those backdoor cuts and his ability to get to the rim. And then you take a look at the bench unit for the Magic. They have been one of the best bench units in the entire association. They are top 3 in the NBA in bench points per game, and they are led by Mo Wagner and Cole Anthony. Both Mo and Cole Anthony are in the contention for 6th Man of the Year award. Mo is putting together a career season. He's shooting a true shooting percentage of 69% from the field. Cole Anthony has been one of the best bucket getters and guys in the entire association, providing that spark off of the bench and really leading that entire second unit. And then you go down the list, you're still going to talk about guys like Gary Harris, who's a very capable vet who can space the floor. He can get thrusted into the starting lineup if you need him to, and he is great at spacing the floor for a lot of these guys. You take a look at Jonathan Isaac. We've talked about his defensive versatility. His presence is felt when he's on the court. Take a look at Caleb Houston and what he can do as a consistent knockdown shooter, and the underrated signing of Joe Ingles coming over from the Milwaukee Bucks. Despite him shooting below 40% from behind the arc this season, he has been extremely valuable in terms of the role and development of these players around him. Joe Ingles does a great job of getting involved in the pick and roll action, and of course his grit on the defensive side of the ball. And the last reason this Orlando Magic team is a legitimate playoff threat is because they are doing this all without Wendell Carter Jr. and Markelle Fultz, who are all listed as day-to-day. These guys could come back sooner rather than later, and they can make a big impact on this team. If the Magic are going on this run and they are doing all of these great things all without Markelle and Wendell, just imagine what they're going to look like when they get these guys back and ramped up to full speed. And I truly believe that this Orlando Magic team having that underdog mentality is only going to help out this team, especially when they've got a tough stretch right now ahead of them to close out the month of December. They've got the Boston Celtics twice this week, Friday and Sunday. Then they're going to play host to the Miami Heat. They've also got the Milwaukee Bucks, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Indiana Pacers, and they will play at the Phoenix Suns prior to the new year. And while teams and fans may wake up during the regular season to see how good this Orlando Magic team is, I can assure you nobody thinks that they can or they will make a deep postseason run, and this team is very much capable of being a legitimate playoff threat. Defense travels, and the overall depth of this team they can compete with anyone on any given night. But NBA fans and Magic fans, we want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. What do you guys make of Orlando's remarkable start to begin the 2023 campaign, and what do you think is their ceiling in the postseason if we remain healthy? We want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. But Magic fans, thank you guys again for sticking around throughout the whole video. Brett James, aka BJ, and like always, let's go Magic.